Jim Bell and I were together in the room. We were laughing. We had to stop laughing because the V's didn't like us when we laughed. She's not protesting the war. She's protesting something she's not getting.
You can always count on the Navy to go there, huh?
Does anyone else have any comments on that question in particular?
I think it's fair to say that in Vietnam we faced a very hostile media. Basically, we had a lot of young reporters, as one of our very famous writers described, who were on the make, who had editors that wanted a certain kind of story, wanted an anti-war slant. Certainly, Dan Rather, CBS, in POW camp, we called them the communist broadcasting system, because basically that's what they were. And so we had a hostile media, and I think that there's been an opportunity certainly now for some of that to generate, but as Jack mentioned, we now have some talk radio, and we have some Fox News, and we have a new guy named Glenn Beck, who we're out there putting a little different perspective on the news. And I think that's been very important.
Any other comments? No? All right, can we take another question from the floor? Yes, ma'am.
How would you say that your experience as a POW has changed your philosophical view of life?
What's she said?
How's the experience change your philosophical view?
The question is, has your philosophy or philosophical approach to life changed since?
Could you spell that?
I can try.
What was it? Philosophical approach on what?
On life.
Based on your experience in Vietnam, have you changed your philosophical approach to life?
Oh, God. Not that I didn't change, but I love life. And I get up in the morning and I'm alive. I do have to check if I don't ache, because at my age you ache. And if I don't ache, I go immediately to the obituary column to see if I'm in it. But do you realize what we can do as American citizens? I can get up and go any place I want, do anything I want, as long as it's within the law. What a magnificent deal. I just hope they let me live. They just put a defibrillator in. The doctor said, I want to take it out at 96. And I said, why 96? He said, because your heart doesn't want to restart when you're 96. I said, leave it in.
You know, you got to look at it. You walk into a room and you take things for granted. The light switch is right there. The hot water's on the left, the cold water's on the right, and if you want to get a real shot, go someplace where they're backwards. You know, and there are very few of those. But I think that's the one thing that we learned to take for granted. All the freedoms that we do have, all the privileges, the quality of life we have. And then, as Jack and Bud and Marshall said, you know, we have learned probably in a unique way the value of being able to hug a male and not be gay, even if he's in the Navy. A lot of things that we learned, a lot of the philosophical changes that we learned, and you really can't describe them. But again, you know, they're things that everybody learns by being tried and tested. And they do change your values, they do change your outlook, they do change your perspective. You know, you don't take hot water, cold water for granted, you check. You know, what's there? But
we do have trouble hugging females sometimes.
You?
If it's at the right age, we have trouble.
But that's I think that's the biggest change that I've seen other guys talk about, is you just don't take things for granted. You appreciate the fact that we're not one of the 56,000 plus etched in that black monument downtown. How can you not be? Figure that. When I got out of my airplane, it's at 2 seconds from the time you pull the ejection handle until you have a parachute in an F-4, an old Martin Baker seat. Before the parachute deployed, my airplane hit the ground at over 600 miles an hour. Okay, say I came within 2 seconds of dying. How can I not be grateful to God or somebody, and in my case it's God, you know, that I didn't write it in like a lot of guys did. Yeah. I got an extra 30 years on life. This isn't half bad.
It's a good camp.
Yeah.
We probably have time for one more question. I want you all to get to lunch on time. Any other questions from the floor?
I don't have a question, but I am the proud mother of a Vietnam vet, a Marine, and I just want to say how it's been an honor to hear you gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I hope each of you have taken away. Oh, do you have another question? Oh, we have time for one more. One more? Is that okay? Okay. One more? Yes, sir.
I guess it's excuse me, let me pull this away from me. It's based on the philosophical question that was asked earlier. You guys talked about how you unified and everything while you were prisoners of war. And I was just wondering, because of the times changing during the civil rights era, okay, and before you going into the service and coming out, how did that impact you, as well as what type of words can you, I guess, pass on to our younger America regarding relationships, racial relationships?
Very good question.
Go ahead, bud. Go ahead.
Okay.
Let me deal with that for just a second. We had several black POWs. One of them was very close to being a classmate of mine, Fred Cherry, who was back here. And one of the very interesting questions that Fred Cherry said was, how did I change from a Negro to a black?
One of the things you have to look at is where your priorities are in life. And probably the best thing out of this experience is you don't have time to worry about those little petty differences, skin color, religion, whatever. You've got a mission to do. You've got the camaraderie going. And your priorities there are to do the best job you can at the time. And you let the best people do the best job. Keep faith with the fellows there, and your best will come out. There's a lot of whining about victimization. Somebody did this to me, somebody didn't do that for me. In this case, and as I know, I've talked to Fred quite a bit, the idea is you've given me a job to do, get out of my way and let me do it.
I hope each of you have been able to take away at least one little nugget of teachings from these men. I would encourage you to take advantage of what they can teach all of us. They are a national treasure. They and their families are a national treasure. And it is instructive for me to remember that the perspective they have has given them the motivation to move forward in life. And I will just close with the reason that our book and our museum exhibit is called Open Doors. It is based on a quote by one of the POWs, Commander Paul Galanti, who said, "There's no such thing as a bad day when you have a doorknob on the inside of the door." So please keep that in mind. Thank you very much.